MVP is going to talk to you guys about the next fight on the prelim card. It's Nikolay Veretennikov. I hope I'm saying that right, bro. Against Austin Vanderford. I know I'm saying that right. Let's talk about Nikolay first. The last time we saw Nikolay, he was fighting Danny Barlow. This was back in August. And Danny Barlow won this fight by split decision. Danny Barlow actually lost on every single scorecard with one of the judges. He lost 30-27, but he won on the other two cards. Don't know if that was right or wrong, but I want to tell you about that particular fight. Here it is. Let me play it for you guys so you can hear what I had to say about it. Listen to this. At all. Listen, there's a really fun thing you should bet on. Will it go the distance? And just trust that Nikolay is so tough that Danny Barlow can't get him out of there. Now, Danny Barlow's going to be connecting, hitting, moving, showing out, all this shit, right? Until he's not. And I'm telling you, I've watched Danny Barlow get taken down and dominated by scrubs. And Nikolay, I think, has a grappling advantage. Now, can he get close enough to get the advantage? I don't know, but he's definitely got an advantage on the ground, and I think he can string this thing out. I think I'd be so much more interested in betting whether or not this goes the distance than anything up here, and I definitely would not be parlaying Danny Barlow as a lock on any of the cards. So let me pull this up. Please understand what I'm saying here. This is important. I think Danny Barlow wins the fight. It's a responsible thing to say, but I would not be betting on Danny Barlow like that. So I can't make it green. I don't want you parlaying it with anything. And I was 100% right. That fight went the distance, and Danny Barlow was not a minus 400 favorite like they said. Nikolay's just a tough dude. And the way I got there was I concluded that Nikolay here, the last time he fought in the UFC, he fought Michael Morales, who's a world-class fighter, still undefeated. And that was his Contender Series fight, and they went the distance. So the guy's tough. He's not a dynamic striker. He's not pleasing to the eye aesthetically, but he's very tough, and he's a hard closeout. Like he's a hard out. Okay, I'm just letting you know that right now. He's 35 years old. He's been fighting for a while now, and he's only lost 5 times in his life. Been knocked out once, subbed once. You're not finishing this guy like that. Okay, last time he got finished was 2014, bro. 2014, the last time he got finished. So he's a good fighter. He's durable. You can trust him. And he's in a fight against a guy making his UFC debut. He's in a fight against a guy named Austin Vanderford. Now, Austin Vanderford, his body looks like a piece of scratch paper because everybody just drew tattoos on this dude. He's got tattoos everywhere, and they don't even make sense, okay? It is what it is. But this is a 34-year-old guy, nicknamed the Gentleman. Trains with American Top Team. And I immediately was like, okay, I'm going to fade this dude. 2 of his last 3 fights, he's lost by knockout in the first round, so I know he's got no chin. That's just knee-jerk reaction. Has been fighting in Bellator, which if you didn't know, that's the fight series or the fight company that's televised on Showtime. And he's been fighting in Bellator for a number of years, but he's not a UFC guy. He just moved over to LFA. Okay, is he moving backwards? Like, what's going on? So we have this man, and he's fighting a guy that I know is tough. But I've never really sat down and analyzed Austin Vanderford's tape. So I said, you know what? Before I make the video and I just tell you to fade this dude, let me just watch the tape. So I go watch him against Luis Victor Romero. And I'm watching the fight, and he knocks out Victor Romero. By the way, he goes by Victor Romero. He knocks out Victor Romero in the first minute. And he knocks him out with a jab. He jabs him, and then they go to the ground, and his ground and pound was vicious. He lands an elbow on the side of the head that's just vicious. And he wins the fight. And I just go, okay, he beat up a can. No big deal. Let's go watch that Fabian Edwards fight. And this time, I'm going to watch him for 15 minutes. And I'm going to see what this is about, because he ends up winning by unanimous decision. And Fabian Edwards is not a bad fighter. Very good fighter, if you ask me. So I'm watching the fight. And let me describe Austin Vanderford to you, okay? He's a dog. And I ain't talking about an underdog. I'm talking about a DAWG dog. Now, getting clipped, that happens. Getting clipped and knocked out, I can't do anything for you. But any fight that he's not clipped and knocked out, he is imposing his will on people. And he fights like me, bro. He does. And I mean that. He has a ground and pound takedown, I'm going to beat you up in front of everybody you care about attitude. He's real. I like this guy so much. I'm watching that fight against Fabian Edwards, and I'm just watching a guy. I had to go do research on him. I've never seen him fight before. I was about to fade him and be like, yeah, don't take him, because I already know Nikolay's tough. Nikolay's been fighting some of the best fighters. You know, that Danny Barlow's undefeated, left-handed God guy. And he couldn't knock him out. And he essentially beat him. He beat him 30-27 on one of the cards. We know he won one of the rounds, because the other two cards he loses 29-28. We know he won one of the rounds for sure. So he fought an undefeated fighter in Danny Barlow. He fought an undefeated fighter in Michael Morales. The only guys that beat him are these undefeated guys. If he fights anybody on the regional scene, he's walking through them, knocking them out, beating them up. So is he going to knock out our boy Austin Vanderford? Austin. And I'm watching and I'm going, yeah, I'm going to take this Kazakhstan dude. And little by little, I'm watching and I go, no way. I can't fade this dude. He's a dog. He's got legs like tree trunks, bro. And he throws kicks for real. Okay? He's slamming kicks into you. Hard ones to the body. They look powerful. Not a great striker up top. And then he's got the greatest ground game you're looking for. He's a wrestler. Turns out he's an NAIA All-American, 4-time All-American wrestler. National champion wrestler from the NAIA. 2-time state champ up in Alaska when he was in high school. This dude is a wrestling monster. He's like Michael Chandler has the same accolades. They look the same. He and Michael Chandler are built the same. These muscle-bound dudes, just absolute units. The only difference is his man uses his wrestling. Michael Chandler doesn't use his wrestling, although he's a world-class wrestler and they talk about him being Division I wrestler and all this stuff. He never uses it. Austin Vanderford does. And he's a dog. And when he looks exhausted, he can dig deep and finish the takedown. Get his hands together, get you down on the ground. And if he's on top, he's heavy. And he's not losing his position. I'm going to go with the underdog here. I really am. And I'm going to just take my shot. Now, he's not a massive underdog. He's a plus 110 because Vegas sees what I see. So you got a guy in Nikolay who's only lost to 2 undefeated fighters in his life. And he's only a favorite by minus 130 against a dude. This is a short notice fight, by the way. They just announced this like 2 days ago. So you're fighting a guy on short notice in his UFC debut, and you're only a minus 130 favorite? And we know you're durable. We know you're tough. We've seen you go the distance with 2 undefeated fighters. But Vegas doesn't believe in you like that. Not that much. I'm taking the underdog, Austin Vanderford, and I'm chanting USA, USA the whole time. This is a good old American boy. I can get down with it. I like the way he fights. I just do. I like the way he scraps, man. He brings it. He looks tough. He looks strong. And he's got great fight IQ. I'm watching him fight and making smart decisions. Great fight IQ. Nothing stupid. And he's just looking to impose as well. He doesn't just lay on top and not do damage. He's trying to do damage and score points. And when I say points, I'm saying strikes from the top. He's not just wrestling. No, he's using his wrestling to get in a dominant body position, and then he's inflicting pain. I like that kid. Austin Vanderford, I call him a kid. He's older, but I'll take him. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows.